Welcome to the Real Voices Podcast, where we explore the personal journeys of real estate professionals through their own unique challenges and successes. Real Voices is brought to you by Equitable Title and Escrow, providing a better approach to title and escrow through team support and innovative services. Welcome to another great episode. I am your host, Marlo Randolph. We have another great guest, Sandra Plaunt, with us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. So, Sandra, tell us, how long have you been in the industry, and who do you serve? What do your clients look like?
All right. Well, I've been in the industry a little over 6 years. Okay. I started out as a buyer's agent. Things have kind of shifted a little bit in the last couple of years, so now I have a lot of seller clients, and I work a lot by referral. So most of my clients come from past clients and friends and referrals.
Okay, awesome. So previous to the 6 years, what were you doing before? What were your career paths or path look like?
For the most part, my career path was working as a paralegal for 32 years. Okay. I spent 13 years working for real estate attorneys doing large transactions, and then I've always loved real estate, so I finally got a chance to transition into that and move out to Arizona.
So I think I recall you saying that you kind of don't like giving over to transaction coordinator because of your paralegal background. Is that correct?
It's not my paralegal background. It's my control freakness that I have going on. So, I'm a big fan of making sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed. And so it's tough for me to hand over the controls.
Understood.
I like driving too.
Understood. So I'm always wondering, because I'm kind of that way in certain things as well too. So how do you overcome that in terms of turning over your clients to like a loan officer or the title company? What is that like for you, or how do you manage that?
That's a good question. And the biggest thing about that for me is working with people who I trust. So once I develop a relationship with a lender or an escrow agent, and I know that person's got my back, I've got their back, we make sure everything gets done, and, it builds a trust, and you just keep working with that person.
Okay, makes sense. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So as a little girl, did you dream of being a paralegal, or what was the goal for you when you were growing up? What did that look like? Total
accident. Growing up, I really never knew what I wanted to do, but in high school, I was in a secretarial class, and we drew packets. We either were doing a medical packet for the entire term, or we were doing a legal packet for the entire term. And I was doing a legal packet. Never thought much of it. Went to Eastern Michigan University. College wasn't my thing. Decided I wanted to go and work, and I got a job at a law firm. Mm-hmm. And I had good technical skills, computers and things like that. And the office manager there, her name was Eleanor Blumenshine. Still remember her to this day. She said, "I like you, and you are good, and I'm going to teach you everything I know." And she did. And I just kept going from there.
Awesome.
So, yeah, she was awesome.
That's cool how things work out for us, right? Mm-hmm. We're in the right place at the right time.
Yep, just fell into it.
Yeah. Man, I'm thinking about the class that you say you took. It was a secretary type class in school?
Yep, okay. It was a 2-hour block in high school called Secretarial and Clerical Office Training. Okay. So we were in that class for 2 hours a day. And there was one other girl and I that could type as fast as the teacher, so we would have race the teacher days on Friday, and we would beat her.
All right. Now, were there any gentlemen in that class, or was it just all girls?
I don't remember a single boy being in that class.
I'm just thinking about that because I think I like a lot of black and white and old TV and movies, but back in the day, those were jobs that men held. Those clerical jobs were always men. So I'm just wondering when did that actually switch over. So
right, yeah. I was in high school in the early 80s. Okay. So it was mostly girls in the secretarial classes by then. But I know what you're talking about because even back if you watched MASH, then the military, there were men in those clerical positions. So yeah,
it's interesting. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to touch base on a little bit about your childhood. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan.
Okay.
So, first Ohio till I was 12, but then Michigan for the years that really counted from 12 on. graduated from a tiny town that had one red light called Oxford, Michigan. So
I know where Oxford is.
you do?
I've heard of, yeah.
Okay, that's rare.
Yeah. I spent a little bit of time. I spent 2 years living in Detroit and the surrounding areas. So yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. So growing up in that little town, what did you do to, I guess, entertain yourself and keep you busy?
Not much. I was a straight A student. I graduated 9th in my class. I wasn't into sports. Okay. I was a Girl Scout for a while till freshman year, I think. Okay. But and I played in band. So I was in the symphonic band, played the flute for a long, long time, and fought with another girl over first and second chair. We just kept switching back and forth for the whole high school career.
Okay. Well, who were your role models? Who spoke to you, I guess? Who touched your heart?
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's just one person. I mean, at least for band, it was my band director. We had a really good band director growing up. And so, we had lots of competition and just, learned a lot in band. And that's where all of my friends came from. Okay. And then once I was an adult, I've always worked around good people, really honest people and hardworking people. And I respect that. Yeah. And I try to be blessed. That. Yeah.
Been blessed. All right. So just thinking about the career paths and things that you were taking, what made you decide real estate and leaving the legal world?
Always wanted to do real estate. But new agents, might not know this, but it's tough to get started in real estate, and it could be a long time before you get a paycheck. So I had to position myself, as a single woman. I had to make sure I had enough money to live on for several months, but I always wanted to do it. And I finally got to a point where I had saved and saved and saved, and I'm like, this is it. I'm going to do this before I'm 50, and I'm a goal person. So I moved out to Arizona when I was 49, left the law firm, and started working in real estate.
So you were in the law firm in Michigan this whole time, and then
I've been at various firms. Okay. It wasn't all one law firm, but
in Michigan though.
But a lot of them, most of them were in Michigan. I moved around a little bit, some years. Okay. And I've been lucky to always work at great firms with really great people. So
makes sense. Mm-hmm. So what made you choose Arizona then, out of all the places you could have gone?
The weather.
It wasn't summertime, obviously.
No, I moved here in January,
Makes
but
sense.
I had come out here to visit, and I just think Arizona is beautiful, and always said I was going to move out here before I was 50. So it was move to Arizona, do the real estate, and made it. So
awesome. Well, you mentioned something that I appreciate you bringing out, is that you said you had to save before you could even jump into the career. Mm-hmm. Talk to us a little bit about that. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So, I mean, it takes a long time to build up your client base when you get into real estate, and, it takes a long time to get your first transaction out there. And I know that people see they see a settlement statement and they think, wow, these people are taking the dollars off the money tree. There's no money tree. Well, there is, but it's really tall and you have to climb it. Right. And it's a long, hard climb. So, you have to work really hard, and it could be months before you get a paycheck. Makes sense. So you got to be ready to dig in, and, you got to have something to live on. Yeah. You got to be able to market yourself. So
I totally appreciate you sharing that. Like you said, a lot of times newer agents come in and just assume, I guess they've been sold that in the schools or whatever, that they're going to make a lot or it can be, but probably not in the first year or two. So
right. Okay.
So in your 6 years, what do you think has been, or I guess in the beginning, what was your biggest hurdle to finding success, to feeling like you were successful?
Just trying to get the ball rolling. And, I found a way. I had a good attitude about it, and I just found a way. At first you don't want to work with renters. It feels like, well, I'm never going to make any money working for renters. But I always tell I have a lot of mentee agents that I help train. I always tell them, what is a renter really? Future buyer. Right. So I worked with a lot of renters. And so that's kind of how I got the ball rolling. Was I stayed in touch, because that's the other most important thing. stayed in touch with all my clients. A lot of them have become good friends. A lot of them have become good referral sources. And a lot of them eventually became buyers. So, yeah.
Okay. So in that process of staying in touch with them, like just say it was a year lease or whatever, what type of ways or how would you touch them? Because some people feel like they're bugging their friends and family.
Right.
What do you go about, or how do you go about doing that?
It's not about real estate.
Okay.
You want to be their friend. You just want to keep talking to them, seeing how they're doing. You have to be genuine. Make sure that you're, really asking about how they are, because people love to tell you about themselves.
Yeah.
And they want you to care. So it's really about staying in touch. So one of the things I do that's kind of different, and probably a lot of people do it, but I send birthday cards, anniversary cards, things like that. Yeah. Because nobody gets any real mail anymore. It's all email and text. So it's nice to get something in the mailbox.
Makes sense. Okay. I like that. So right now, what do you feel like your greatest struggle is? What's your greatest hurdle to your next, I guess, goals?
Next level. A lot of my buyers have kind of gone off the wayside. Most of my buyers were first-time home buyers, and I love my first-time home buyers. I love educating them about the process and helping them get a home, and they're always so happy and so grateful for the help, but it's tough for them to compete right now. So right now, that's a big hurdle for me, is keeping in touch with my first-time home buyers, but knowing that they probably aren't going to compete much right now. So I have to find sellers. I have to find, move-up buyers instead. Okay. So I'm changing my whole clientele.
Yeah, that's tough, trying to stay relevant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. So you train lots of agents. I guess, what do you see agents or newer agents struggle with the most right now? What are they not doing or doing well? What are you seeing with newer agents?
There's a lot of things. And I think I said it before, people don't realize how tough this business is. It's hard to get started. And in a year like this, it's extra tough to get started. And I always tell my agents, you just got to stay out there. You got to have a CRM, stay in touch with your people. And I guess my biggest pet peeve, proofread, because you want to look like a professional when you're communicating with your clients and with your sphere. So, if you send out an email that's full of typos, or you, God forbid, write a contract that has mistakes in it, and it could be something big like a price,
Yeah.
Proofread.
Makes sense.
I'm a big stickler for that.
Especially I guess I've heard that twice now in the last couple of days about the price, and I was thinking, I'm like, well, how could you mess that up? But I guess if you're actually just typing it in, it's easy to forget a zero.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. People, it amazes me the mistakes that people make. Not necessarily always new agents either.
Right.
I think some of the agents that have been in the business a long time, and all people do. All people make mistakes, and I make mistakes too. I just hope they're not big ones.
Amen to that, right?
Yeah. And then own it.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, own it, and we can fix it.
Makes sense. I like that. Own it. Yeah. Like it. What do you feel like you're most proud of, either in your life or your business, or where's your joy and your pride come from?
It's hard to say, but I think I operate with a lot of integrity. And I think that comes from working in law firms for such a long time, and it's a business where you're trying to uphold the law. You're trying to keep people out of trouble. And I want to stay out of trouble. So, I like to operate with integrity and make sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do to protect my clients and keep them out of trouble as well. So
I like that. Thank you. Just going along with protection and all, I just felt impressed to ask you, but how do you, like, as a female and an agent, and, you're showing houses and things like that, how do you keep yourself, like, yourself protected physically? What do you usually do, or how do you go about that?
Well, you just have to be smart.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I've always done, no matter where your leads come from, sometimes you're going to be showing a house to someone that you don't know very well. You don't meet at the house. Okay. You got to meet somewhere out in public. And if you got a bad feeling, go with your gut.
Okay.
And, if you have to cancel. But it's better than, being under the dirt. So.
Right. That's a great. I never thought about, hey, let's meet at the Starbucks and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about whatever we need to do.
Go with your gut.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. So it looks like you brought a book. I know you mentioned you don't really read a lot, but you brought something from Warren Buffett, it looks like.
Yeah,
Tell me,
I did.
why that book? If you don't read a lot, why did you decide to read that one?
You know, and I read this so many years ago, and then we were talking about bringing a book. So I remembered that I had read this one, and I really enjoyed it. I'm just a big Warren Buffett fan. And I like the way that Warren Buffett chooses the companies that he's going to invest in and things like that. He operates with a lot of integrity. And, you know, he believes that the people with the wealth should be helping out. And one of the things I remember from his book is him talking about his tax return being like 1,000 pages long. And he's like, this is just stupid. It's 1,000 pages of me trying to get out of paying my taxes. Right. He goes, but I can afford to pay my taxes. Yeah. So, you know, I just like the way he thinks.
I remember him saying that about his secretary paid more in personal income taxes than he did.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
It is pretty crazy. It's crazy. Thank you. I appreciate that. So what's your philosophy then? What is your guiding principle?
Just do the right thing. You know, I just try to make sure that I'm toeing the line, and I'm not asking somebody else to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So, you know, I just try to operate in that line and just stay honest and do the work. You got to do the work.
It's safety there. Safety there.
Yeah. No shortcuts.
Right. Safe. Okay. So as far as when you said that it took you a little bit of time to get going, when did it finally dawn on you that, yes, I can do this?
Probably my second year of real estate. And when I first started in real estate, I was working at a different company. I wasn't with HomeSmart yet. And about probably 6 months in, the broker was having me train people how to write contracts. And I'm pretty sure that was my legal background. But I realized, I'm like, boy, I got to go somewhere where, you know, where this is going to work better for me.
Makes
so,
sense, yeah.
you know, so now, of course, I've moved over here and I do a lot of mentorship. And I've always been a mentor. Even when I worked at law firms, you know, I've mentored younger girls that became legal assistants and stuff. So it's just my nature to teach, educate.
So if I heard it right, it was when you were approached like, hey, teach someone else. You're like, okay, I can
wait a minute.
I can do this. This isn't so bad. Okay, I
Yeah.
get that. But it took you 2 years, you said. It took you about 2 years?
To, I think, just get the confidence up and know that I could just make a move and go somewhere that was going to be a better fit for me.
Right. Okay, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as managing the business side of this, how do you, as you said, control freak, how do you wear all those hats? What do you do to keep yourself sane and not burned out by the business?
Oh, I don't know if I'm sane.
Okay. She said it.
These things are not mutually exclusive. I may not be sane. You know, I just keep going. I am organized, and I think that's just part of my background. I'm good with technology, so I've got checklists. I've got to-do lists. You know, I at one point in time used to write a lot of sticky notes, but then I would lose the sticky notes. So now I got checklists.
I love sticky notes. I loved it when I found that there was a sticky note option on the computer. Yeah. I had sticky notes on the computer all day. So yeah.
I wish I would have invented the sticky note.
It's a good one. It's a good one. So just, I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us and, just giving your perspective. So where can the people find you at?
Where can the people find me at? Well, I'm with HomeSmart. Okay. So my website is www.sandrasellsaz.com, or you can call me at 623-262-7027.
How about an email?
Sandra@sandrasellsaz.com.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much. It was a great time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.